Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 9.
Welcome in for the second edition of Mississippi Live Weather at 9. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor here for a Mississippi Live Weather update. Tracking storms, yes, storms, as you saw earlier on this evening, but it's not just here in North Mississippi. We're tracking it all across the country, and we do have some exclusive video coming in from Iowa, where, of course, a more potent system is in place. This is Kelowna, Iowa, and that is a funnel cloud that you're seeing forming there in the sky right overhead. This did move through Kelowna, and fortunately, everyone is okay. This, of course, a video shot by Ethan, and not our Ethan Foster, of course, a different Ethan in Iowa tonight. We just see that rotating funnel trying to get further towards the ground, and did end up touching down towards town once it did end up moving in. So we're continuing to pray for those that are affected. Fortunately, everyone is okay. There's a look at the debris that's kind of scattered around the crops up there. Being from Iowa, it's a heavy farm country for sure. And there's the hog barn that they were telling me is already getting restored as we speak. So that's just some of the damage that they're seeing. And not only was it damage, it was even some large hail falling as well. You see some of those stones, it was up to baseball-sized stones. So that all up in Iowa, that's where the severe weather is expected to remain. But as you saw earlier on, it wasn't impossible to get some of our own thunderstorms down here in North Mississippi. Big thank you to Ethan for sending that in to us. But yeah, it just goes to show you that it's a more active system towards our north. Our next chance of severe weather actually pushing on later into the forecast. We'll get to that here in just a moment. You're seeing the magnitude of those reports, and of course those tornado reports, at least the funnel reports over there towards eastern Iowa. Still seeing that level 2 threat in place, but that's the thing. It's 2 hour north. If we track that out based off of the mileage, the closest we are is 200 miles. So folks, we're not expecting severe weather tonight. It's just going to be a few showers, a few storms, and that's really it when we're talking about tonight's immediate threat. But strong storms are possible Saturday. We'll track that county by county here in just a moment. Some storms tonight, as we've seen so far, a large part of those tapering out, but we are expecting some of those isolated showers to continue overnight and into our Friday as we get our Easter weekend started. And yes, we do have that latest look at those rain chances for our Easter as well. So the first 12 there, you're getting a look. Rain chances around 20 to 30% overnight, and going to be sticking around into our Friday, but still around 10 to 20% in coverage. So this is not going to be a significant threat, but where these chances do form, that's where we could see impactful rainfall as a result. Batesville tonight, 72 degrees. This was where we saw some of those showers working through earlier on this evening, and where some of those storms got to be a little bit more impressive. But fortunately, no damage reports. We don't have any power outages. That's exactly what we want. And everyone is snug in bed at this point and ready for a great Friday ahead, and a good Friday ahead. Kosciuszko, 73 degrees. That was where some of the first showers worked through North Mississippi. Now a drier evening, and out in Blue Springs tonight, of course, I-22 active as always, but just a calm evening with a nice breeze out of the south, adding to that warm air. Feels like a summer evening, even though it is still early April. I had to remember the date in my head. So looking at Mama Justice Doppler radar, there's your showers. And again, a limited fashion towards Hernando and up there towards the Benton County area. Put this on a loop and you can see how things really ramped up right there towards Panola, Lafayette, even Marshall County getting some of that activity. And that's still right there. Definitely did stand out, had a little bit of that broad rotation, but just not exactly the environment, the potent environment that it needs to form all the way to the ground. So that's why it never did form, fortunately, and it's just going to be some of those showers clearing on out towards those overnight hours. And as we look up there towards the northwest area, again, nothing really stands out. No strikes of lightning, so this is going to be a heavy rain producer at most and staying well below severe limits. As we take a look at our surface analysis, we're of course looking at those showers, this boundary. I want to say this, model's not doing the best job last night, but you and I last night at 9 and 10 o'clock pinpointed exactly that boundary that we were talking about that could have produced some of the, stronger, impactful thunderstorms. Well, we had exactly that form. So it wasn't the light showers that formed. So what that's telling me already is that models are underdoing the magnitude of these showers. So I think while it's showing light showers tomorrow, wouldn't be shocked at all if we got some heavy rainfall as a result once again. But this system that all this moisture is attached to is moving up there towards the north and east, and we're looking back towards that next system towards Colorado, moving, it's a pretty slow mover, but it is still moving towards the east and will be impacting us here in North Mississippi by our Saturday. So tonight, just going to be a few showers, but that main event moving through heading into our Easter weekend. Like I mentioned, Futurecast underdoing these rain chances. So while it's showing a few greens here and there, wouldn't be shocked at all if we did get some of that heavy rainfall mixing in as well. That begins to move its way off towards the east. But just with that warm, unstable air being brought in from the Gulf, that's what's allowing these rain chances to stick around. It is still mostly dry here in North Mississippi, but mostly meaning there is still a chance at a few showers throughout our Friday morning and continuing into our Friday afternoon. So that's why these rain chances do stick around. We're seeing that from 6 a.m. all the way into that mid-afternoon time frame. Honestly, while there isn't chances there, wouldn't be shocked if those did continue into some of those Good Friday services as well. Still in a limited quantity, but nonetheless, it is still there, and we want you guys to stay dry as you head off to those services. Temperature-wise, we're climbing to the mid-80s, going to be a warm forecast by the afternoon. Lots to enjoy getting into our Good Friday, not just weather-wise, but also just with all of the great plans for our Easter weekend. Do you have any? Well, we're tracking that county by county through your weekend coming up here in the next 60 seconds live from the Room to Room Weather Center.
When something this big comes crashing into your life, it's not just metal that takes the hit. It's your time, your health. And the companies behind it, they're all protecting themselves. You need someone who knows how to stand up to them. I'm Casey Lott. If you've been injured in a truck accident, call me today.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, we are officially in that home stretch looking towards our Easter weekend. Good Friday, seeing some limited showers. Saturday, though, that's where we expect the widespread showers and storms, potentially some strong storms as well, and we'll get into that here in just a moment. Those clearing out early Sunday morning, leaving us dry for Sunday afternoon, our Easter afternoon, and then on into next week as well, and dry but also cool as well. So those temperatures will take a hit getting into next week, but I think we'll take it with the dry and beautiful conditions that we will see. Live look there at Clarksdale tonight, 72 degrees with dew points in the upper 60s. So we talked about that unstable environment. Think of it more like a summer pattern. You know, when you have that warm air and that moisture sticking around, that basically means there's a chance for a shower, and it doesn't take much to get those going, especially by those afternoon hours once the peak heating does kick in. Again, we'll go county by county through that here in just a moment. 73 degrees Pontotoc, again with that cloud cover there. I can see that stratus cloud blanketing the sky in the distance, a part of those showers and a part of what has been a gloomy evening, all things considered. Now, Starkville, you might be wondering, Gabe, why are there not a lot of cars on the roads? Game's still ongoing, and as of right now, score check, it is 7-10. Bulldogs are up. Unfortunately, it's the lesser Bulldogs, the Georgia Bulldogs. So there's your score update. Now, last I saw, Ole Miss was up too. So our Mississippi teams need to represent and show those other teams what's up here in North Mississippi. All right, looking at our Mama Justice Doppler radar, of course, what stands out is those showers right along the Tennessee state line, but it's been a part of this boundary that we've been tracking all day long. So putting it on that loop once again, and I'm going to zoom it in specifically there towards northwest Mississippi, you can see how those individual cells right there between northeast Marshall County and basically right across Holly Springs, watch these cells work their way through. That's where we got a little bit of that intensification to take place. So with these boundaries that are in the area, that allows for potentially some of these showers to become more storms and some of the storms to pack a punch. And so that's what we're watching for with these setups, is not necessarily a one continuous line moving across the area. It's going to be these boundaries that set up and allow for some of that more inclement weather to happen. So looking at those peak impacts, it's not going to be nearly what it was earlier on. And of course, we'll have to look at Memphis, actually. So let me go ahead and pull that up. And as we look at those threats, yeah, maybe some small hail aloft, but none of that is reaching the surface. It's primarily just going to be that heavy rainfall, which we still need. As I mentioned earlier on this evening, we are in that level 5 drought. So, folks, we need rainfall, and I'm not going to complain when we have these chances. Unfortunately, with these chances comes some of the stronger storms, and that's the the bad part about it. But speaking of strong storms, where we expect the severe weather threat to be in place is on our Saturday, level 1 across North Mississippi and Northwest Alabama. And that's primarily for those strong wind gusts. It's a non-zero tornado threat, meaning that tornadoes aren't really expected with this setup, but it's not impossible to get a brief one as it moves through the area. We've seen that with previous level 1 risks, so I'm not saying it's impossible with this setup. It's just not necessarily the same environment as what folks in Iowa are having tonight with multiple of those tornado reports. So that's a good thing. Again, we'll take the rainfall, and we're going to have a lot of it heading into our Saturday. 11 p.m. we're 20%, 30% by 2, continuing right around that same margin by 5 a.m. So I saw Terry asking in the chat earlier on, is it going to be more towards the morning or the afternoon? Well, let's go ahead and get into that. So tracking things out heading into your overnight hours, there's the chance that a few of those isolated showers, and honestly, I think we're underdoing it once again. These yellows that are popping up, I think that's where we're going to see some of the heavier rainfall mixing in as those progress through northwest Mississippi and move towards Tennessee during the early hours of our Friday. Now, Terry, it does depend on where you're at, because if you're in the Golden Triangle or northwest Alabama, light showers are expected to be in the area, even up there towards Prentiss County, seeing some of those heavier portions, but you're along I-55, we're dry. So it's going to be more mist than hit in the grand scheme of things, but some of these isolated showers do start to develop and stick around into our Friday morning commute, our good Friday morning commute. 65 degrees Tupelo and Boonville, we're 66 Grenada, 69 Cleveland and Greenville, and 68 there towards Greenwood. So looking at pickup, 20% there, but it doesn't mean it's completely dry by drop-off. I do think that a few of those pop-up showers will be remaining. Coverage will just be a little bit more limited. So let's track that out. Your morning, seeing some isolated showers develop northwest Alabama, northwest Mississippi, and even out there towards eastern Arkansas. And this is just going to be, again, another boundary that this forms across. So I think we're going to get another batch of showers that continues to stick around towards the Mississippi River. But a large part of North Mississippi is staying dry, and not just dry, but pretty clear as well. A haze over the sky, but the sunshine still should be able to reach the surface. So those rain chances by 3 p.m., checking in with the afternoon pattern, still sticking there towards northwest Mississippi, and that's where we expect it to remain for the most part. So by 6 p.m., those Good Friday services, great sign here, seeing that we don't have a drop of rainfall here in North Mississippi. So all things considered, not seeing a high output of those rain chances. I would say the morning is the best threat, but even then it's going to be more mist than hit. So check your Mississippi Live weather app to check the latest on radar, and that'll let you know where those showers are forming, and it gives you a 10-mile heads up when even a raindrop is headed your way. Looking at our severe weather risk on our Friday, primarily going to be up there towards Iowa once again. So say a prayer for folks up there dealing with system after system after system. And I believe our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut will be up there looking at some of those storms and hopefully get an update from him tomorrow about what they have. We are 86 degrees, and I have to give a shout out. He's with the North Mississippi Storm Chaser, so we're going to talk to them as well. So it's going to be a whole team event heading into that severe weather threat, but ours moves in Saturday, and it's due to this warm and moist air that we have here in North Mississippi. 87 degrees Houston, Bruce, and Eupora. We're 88 Grenada. Now, our record is 87 degrees. I think we're going to be close to that, almost threatening the record for our Friday high temperature. So we'll look at that heading into our broadcast tomorrow, but that's one thing that stands out. Your Friday evening staying dry for the most part, but there's that next system. On your Saturday, that cold front begins to move through Arkansas, picking up in intensity towards Little Rock. But by the time it gets into Mississippi, it's going to be more towards your Saturday. So some isolated stuff developing right along the river once again. But for the most part, here in North Mississippi, we are staying pretty calm and pretty dry overnight into the start of our Easter weekend. Low temperatures were 63 Houston, Bruce, and Starkville, 66 Greenwood, 68 Cleveland and Clarksdale, 67 Tunica and South Haven. So we're still enjoying that warm air, but that warm air is setting the scene as we get into our Saturday, because it is that unstable air mass that these storms do need to form. Getting some of these prefrontal cells, so I'm not saying it's impossible, but this is going to be more isolated development. That main batch going to be right along the river by noontime, extending across the river, and there's some more of those prefrontal cells developing. Now, this is where I'd be paying attention, because this is where we could get some small hailstones. This is where we could get some of those stronger winds, but that's also where we could get, if a brief spin up were to occur, it would be within this setup right here. Again, this isn't going to be a tornado producing system, but a non-zero threat means that a brief spin up is not impossible. So by 6 p.m., that begins to move closer to the Golden Triangle and then extending more off there towards, I think data had an error right here. So unfortunately, we will not be able to show that. Let me just go ahead and advance it so we can get past this. That was unfortunate. Well, coming up at 10, we'll go through that. a little bit more detail, but basically clearing out overnight and leaving us much drier by our Easter Sunday. So I wanted to show you that because that's the good news with this pattern is we're going to be dry for all of those egg hunts, all of those church services, looking good to go. High temperatures already seeing that cooler air move in Saturday afternoon towards Senatobia, South Haven, and Tunica, coming in at 76 degrees. That's that effect of the cold front. Bring in cooler air and drier air as well. 84 Starkville, 83 Houston and Amory, and 80 towards Boonville. So that cooler air will move in, but that's primarily going to be by Sunday where we feel it. Saturday, the main thing we're focusing on is this level 1 threat and continue to assess that here behind the scenes. So rainfall totals, while severe weather is not going to be as widespread as the rain chances, the rainfall is still going to see some high impacts as a result. So looking at those totals, throughout your Saturday, we're expecting an inch plus in some spots based off of our strike model. But once we get more into Sunday, look at how this number does not climb. What does that mean? We're dry. And that's key to looking at our extended pattern because it's a whole different shift of the forecast that we get to enjoy once these rain chances do clear out and we can finally get those outdoor plans done, get the mowing done, especially after this rainfall, right? But it's going to be a great time heading into next week. Good Friday, 83 degrees, Saturday 80, and then Sunday 67 degrees for highs. Rain chances Saturday, but dry conditions by your Easter Sunday. That 20% going to be for those early hours and then clearing on out beyond that point. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's that dry air with plenty of sunshine. Temperature-wise, we're only going to be in the upper 60s for highs. Low temperatures get all the way down into the mid-40s. So, folks, it's going to be a cool morning. It's going to be an even cooler afternoon. So enjoy it, look forward to it, but enjoy the rain chances ahead. And, of course, stay weather aware as well. So, looking in the chat, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Appreciate all you folks for watching. We do, in fact, need some heavy rainfall. Terry, you are exactly right on that. And I know we will take it for sure. I've been talking to some classes and basically telling them it's crunchy outside because of all the dry air. So I'm sick of it being crunchy. I want it to start feeling a little bit better outside for sure. So we are going to be back. I know you guys think, well, it's 9 o'clock. There's no more. We are going to have our next broadcast at 10 o'clock. Now, the 10 o'clock going to be more focused on sports. That's right, our game of the week. We didn't forget about it. We're just giving Ethan a little bit more time to get those highlights together. All of that coming your way at 10 o'clock tonight. Make sure to download that Mississippi Live Weather app to stay informed, see those sports highlights, and of course, see the latest on the weather here in North Mississippi. That next broadcast at 10 o'clock. Can't wait to see you guys there. And don't forget our morning shows, 6:37 and 7:30 on your Friday morning with our meteorologist Maggie McCauley live here from the Room to Room Weather Center.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
You don't become part of a place by hanging a sign. You earn your place by showing up. Not just when it's easy, when it's everything. This isn't healthcare from a distance. North Mississippi Health Services is nationally recognized care that runs generations deep.
Thank you, Sherman, for supporting Mississippi Live Weather.